Back in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, Day 2 of the 2014 Division III World Series is in the books. I'm Pat Coleman of D3Sports.com, joined by our baseball guru, Jim Dixon of D3Baseball.com, as we wrap up the second day of the 2014 Division III Baseball Championship, a day in which we sent the defending champions back home, and we sent another team home as well. We're down to final 6 teams competing for walnut and bronze here in 2014. And for Linfield, they were the last team standing here in Appleton back in 2013, and they were the first team sent home back to McMinnville, Oregon, after a pair of really subpar pitching performances. Subpar, you could talk about Friday's game by Chris Hadeland, and then just plain old poor as Aaron Thomason faced 8 batters, only got 2 of them out, did not get out of the first inning as Linfield lost to Emory 8-5.
Neither Linfield pitcher felt comfortable on the mound. I don't know if it was just the mound was strange or something, but you know they really did not get comfortable, and so they didn't have a great performance. So Linfield went home early.
Linfield did manage to get back into this game. They had trailed by a score of 6-0, cut it back to 8-5, thanks in some part to Zach Manley having a decent performance out of the pen, and then Justin Davis, Justin Huckins, and Garrett Spire each with a scoreless, or combining for 3 innings and just 1 run allowed. But in the end, it's the Wildcats heading back home. Thomason takes the loss. He falls to 10-2. Connor Dillman, who was not particularly effective on Saturday, did just enough to get the win. He improved to 10-1, but he gave up 7 hits and he walked 4 in 5 2/3 innings.
One of the things about Emory is they came back and they started to play their game. Yesterday, they weren't playing the Emory way. Today, they were. They're starting to swing the bats better. They need to get the running game going. But they have enough pitching where they can sit there and they can go deep in this tournament.
3 players with 2 hits for Emory as they win 8-5. Emory improves to 35-12, and Linfield falls to 37-9, ending their season. In the other elimination game that was played early this afternoon on Saturday, Southern Maine defeated Salisbury by the score of 6-3. Andrew Richards comes out of the pen. He throws 5 2/3 innings, allows 1 unearned run, and you know I think that means he's probably good to pitch about 13 innings tomorrow if they need him, right?
Absolutely.
You remember him from last year, right? All you out there? Or just say yes, we're good there.
Aaron Richards was one of the stars last year, and the reason that Southern Maine was able to make it to the championship game. And he's going to have to play a big role this year also for them to sit there and make it through the elimination bracket.
Yeah, because Logan Carmen had a short start on Friday. Shiler Skates only went 3 1/3 on Saturday. Andrew Richards comes in with the 5 2/3 innings, allows just 3 hits. Of course, big bats for Southern Maine as well. Forrest Chadwick, 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs, including a home run. Jake Glauser hit the first home run of this championship, and you know, Southern Maine, you know, as Ed Flaherty talked about in the post-game news conference, begin to actually look a little bit like the Southern Maine team that he comes to expect.
They're starting to hit a lot better. They certainly weren't the team that you would have thought they were coming in. They were going to be, but I think that they also have enough pitching, and they're going to be able to turn it around. And one of the things that both Emory and Southern Maine are looking forward to is they're coming off wins. They're going to play teams that are coming off losses. So they think they have the confidence to get past one more day.
Salisbury goes 0-2 with 2 really iffy pitching performances. Today was Dan Fine. He went 6 2/3, gave up 5 runs, 3 of them earned, gave up 10 hits, and you know, again, just never. It's another guy who never really looked comfortable here.
It's Salisbury. They made an effort, and certainly the coach is not going to make any excuses. But I think we've seen, and we could say farewell to Doug Fleetwood, the head coach, as he leaves baseball to devote entirely for football at Salisbury.
Yep, Doug Fleetwood, this was his last season after 14 seasons coaching baseball at Salisbury, and also as Jim mentioned, as an assistant football coach. Andrew Richards gets the win. He improves to 6-1. Dan Fine with the loss falls to 8-2 on the season. A lot of guys coming back for Salisbury next season, though, so it'll be interesting to see who they hire in the offseason and what they look like coming up in 2015. Our third game of the day, these are the winner's bracket games, a game in which St. Thomas got 3 hits, a pair of runs, an RBI from Ben Podobinski. Jacob Nelson came out of the bullpen and threw 3 shutout innings of relief when they sorely needed him. He picked up the win as St. Thomas defeated Baldwin Wallace 5-4.
St. Thomas had an excellent performance today, and I think that the one team that St. Thomas is looking forward to seeing is they want to see UW-Whitewater.
Wait,
and,
Whitewater won?
Oh, well, maybe
that never happens.
So they had the team wants to see the team in the region, and so they're going to get their wish.
They are. They will face Whitewater. Whitewater defeated Cortland 9-6. Baldwin Wallace, as they move into the losers bracket, they were led by Hunter Handel. The DH was 4 for 5. Mark Zimmerman at second base, 3 for 5 with a pair of runs scored. And Baldwin Wallace was right in there all the way to the end. Tommy Danzig came in to close it out for St. Thomas. He had a 2-run lead, gave up one of the runs. Tying run was on base, and Baldwin Wallace couldn't quite push it across. But, Baldwin Wallace has been playing with its back against the wall for probably about a month now anyway, so going into an elimination game on Sunday probably isn't going to phase them any more than this.
I'm really surprised at how Baldwin Wallace has been able to sit there and come into Appleton and sit there and take the pressure and play like their team that's been here before. You really got to give a credit to their head coach for keeping them ready and keeping them loose. Baldwin Wallace is a team that has surprised me, and I would not be surprised if they win a couple more games. And
that nightcap, the final game of the 4 games, our last 4-game day here at the Division III World Series, was won by Whitewater 9-6. This is a game, frankly, it was like a basketball game. It had 6 lead changes. Teams were going back and forth down the floor. No, maybe not. But, Brandon McLean gutted out 7 2/3 innings in which he left some pitches out there for guys to hit. Whitewater is a team that's not going to let you get away with that. But Whitewater struggled in the pitching department as well, and it wasn't until Colin Grove came in and pitched the final 3 innings. He retired the first 7 batters he faced, and earned the win as the Warhawks rallied with 3 runs in the 8th.
I think in terms of Cortland State, we saw an uncharacteristically shaky defense. Mm-hmm. We have a Gold Glove pitcher throwing the ball around. So Cortland's going to need to take care of their defense if they want to sit there and stay another day.
Yeah, it was 3 errors. 2 of them, Brandon McLean had 2 errors on pickoffs in 1 inning that allowed Whitewater to tie the game at 6 apiece in the 6th inning. After the first 6 innings, Cortland scores in 5 of them before Grove comes in and shuts things down. And then Whitewater finally comes up in the bottom of the 8th and puts some things together. I'm just going to go back to my own score sheet here. You see, old-fashioned paper score sheet in which Whitewater starts off with a pair of singles. Cortland brings the infield in, comes up with a diving grab to get the first out. Then Miro walks, loads the bases. Infield grounder is cut down at the plate. So there's 2 outs, bases loaded, no runs in, and then all of a sudden Nick Coleman comes up and he sees the pitch he's looking for. Absolutely, and he sat there and he put in play and scored 2 runs. They added another run afterwards, and left Cortland 1 inning to sit there and make a comeback. And Cortland was very confident that they'd be able to sit there and put some runs on the board. But at best, they got the tying run to the plate, and they weren't able to sit there and tie the game and get the win. So it will be St. Thomas and Whitewater playing in the Winners Bracket Championship game on Sunday night. That game scheduled to start at 7 p.m. Central. But, of course, the most important thing about this game, Jim, is unlike last year, they've thrown away now the throwaway game. So the winner of this game, we go back to the format that we had for several years earlier here in Appleton, where the winner of this game goes directly to Tuesday. They get an entirety of Monday off. And then someone has to come in and beat them twice on Tuesday to take the national championship away from them. Whoever wins that game between Whitewater and St. Thomas on Sunday night is truly sitting pretty. Absolutely. The team that wins the winner's bracket game is in the best position of all, because they're going to have a rested number 1 ready to go, wherein all the other teams are sitting there using up their pitching. It's a real advantage to the team that wins the winner bracket, and that's the way the NC set it up. That you win 3 games and you get the great advantage. So that's that game. It will be the third game of the day. The first game of the day is an elimination game between Southern Maine and Baldwin-Wallace. That game will start at noon Central Time. Following that will be an elimination game between Emory and Cortland State, and of course that key game in which practically someone could practically win walnut and bronze. That will be at 7 p.m. Again, as we mentioned, the winner of that game gets Monday off. The other three remaining teams battle it out on Monday to see who gets to challenge that team again on Tuesday. And again, they would have to beat them twice to win this double elimination tournament. Jim, any other thoughts from this day 2 of action here in Appleton?
It was a surprising day. The first day you can really plan on pitching dominating, and we saw that in some respects. In some respects we did not. Now we're starting to see the hitting come around, and I think that if you like to see scoring, now's the time to sit there and come out to the championships, because the offenses are going to start to take over for the next 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, if you're a St. Thomas or Whitewater fan, it's a relatively short trip. It's about 4.5 hours from St. Paul, and it's about 2 hours or 2.5 hours up from Whitewater. So we expect to see you guys here on a Sunday night. Everybody else, if you can't make it, tune it in. We have score updates along with live stats and video updates on d3baseball.com. And of course, we have game recaps, post-game news conference videos, and of course great photo galleries from our friends over at d3photography.com. So get all the 2014 Division III Baseball World Series coverage from d3baseball.com. For Jim Dixon, I'm Pat Coleman, and we'll see you again on Sunday.